Welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about choosing yourself, stopping the wait, and starting to grow. This is one of the most powerful lessons you will ever hear about this topic. This is something that can completely change your life. Many people spend their whole life waiting. They wait for the right moment. They wait for someone to believe in them. They wait for permission to begin. They feel that if they just wait long enough, something will change. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. The real problem is not that you have no support. The real problem is that you are waiting for others to choose you before you choose yourself. As you listen to this video, you will also improve your English. Pay attention to the vocabulary. Pay attention to the sentence patterns. The more you listen, the stronger your English becomes. And before we begin, if you enjoy learning English through powerful stories and life lessons like this, make sure to subscribe to English Ascent and continue your ascent with us every single day. Lesson 1. The moment you choose yourself, everything changes. One of the biggest mistakes a person can make is waiting for someone else to begin. Most people believe that life will start when something outside changes. They wait for a promotion. They wait for a friend's support. They wait for the right time. But that time never comes on its own. Imagine two people. The first person waits for approval before starting anything new. The second person decides to move forward without any approval at all. At first, they look exactly the same. Both are in the same situation with the same resources. But slowly their lives begin to change. 1 year later, there is a small difference in their confidence. 5 years later, there is a big difference in their entire life. Now think about your own life. How many times have you stopped because you were waiting? How many plans have you delayed because you needed someone else to say yes? Every time you wait for permission, you give your power to someone else. Remember this: the only permission you need to begin is your own. Lesson 2. Waiting is a quiet form of self-betrayal. One of the biggest truths about growth is that waiting feels safe, but it costs you everything. When you wait, nothing hurts. There is no failure, there is no rejection, but there is also no progress. Waiting is not rest. Waiting is slow surrender. Imagine a young woman who had a dream of starting her own business. She was talented, she was ready, but she waited for her family to agree. She waited for more money. She waited for more confidence. Years passed. The idea was still in her head. The business was never born. One day, she met someone younger who had started the same kind of business. She realized that the only thing that had stopped her was her own waiting. Now think about your own life. What dream have you been carrying in silence? What idea lives only in your mind because you have not acted on it yet? Every day you wait is a day you do not grow. Remember this: waiting is not preparation. Waiting is fear wearing a patient face. Lesson 3. You have always been enough to begin. One of the biggest secrets of successful people is this: they started before they were ready. They did not have all the answers. They did not have all the resources. They did not have all the confidence, but they started anyway. And confidence came after the action, not before. Imagine two people. The first person says, "I will start when I am ready. I need more knowledge. I need more time. I need more support." The second person says, "I am not ready, but I will begin and learn as I go." At first, they look the same. Both are uncertain. Both are nervous. But one is moving, and one is standing still. 1 year later, the difference is clear. 5 years later, one has a life built from action, and one has a life built from waiting. Now think about your own life. You already have something to offer the world. You already have enough to take one step. You do not need to be perfect to begin. You only need to be willing. Remember this: you were always enough. You just forgot to believe it. Lesson 4. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that putting others first is always the right thing. There is a difference between kindness and self-abandonment. True kindness comes from a full cup. But when you never choose yourself, your cup becomes empty. You cannot give what you do not have. Think about a river. When a river is full, it flows into the land around it. It feeds the trees. It gives water to animals and people. But when the source dries up, the river cannot give anything. It becomes still. It becomes empty. The same is true for you. When you choose yourself, you fill your own source. And from that fullness, you can give more to others. Now think about your own life. Where have you been running dry? Where have you been giving and giving without refilling yourself? Choosing yourself is not selfishness. It is survival. It is wisdom. It is love for yourself and for everyone around you. Remember this. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Choose yourself first. Lesson 5. Stop looking for signs. You already have your answer. One of the biggest traps in life is waiting for a sign before making a decision. People ask, is this the right moment? Is this the right path? Is this the right choice? And while they are asking, life passes. The right moment is almost always right now. The right path is almost always the one you are already standing on. Imagine a student who wanted to learn English. He wanted to speak confidently, but he kept waiting. He waited until he found the perfect course. He waited until he had more time. He waited until he felt less afraid. 2 years passed. His English did not improve because he was always preparing to begin, never actually beginning. Then one day he decided, enough. He started listening every day. He started speaking even with mistakes. Within 6 months, his English was completely transformed. Now think about your own English journey. Are you waiting for the perfect moment to practice? The perfect moment is this moment. This video, this lesson, this minute, this is your sign. Remember this. The sign you are waiting for is already here. It is called now. Lesson 6. Growth begins the moment you stop explaining yourself. One of the biggest secrets of people who grow fast is that they stop justifying their choices to others. They stop explaining why they are working hard. They stop defending their dreams. They stop asking people to understand their path. They simply walk it. Imagine 2 people. The first person shares every plan, every dream, every goal with everyone around them. Each time someone doubts them, they feel deflated. They slow down, they question themselves. The second person keeps their goals quiet. They work in silence. They do not seek approval. They let their results speak. At first, they look the same. Both have dreams. Both have doubts. But one is fueled by outside opinion, and one is fueled by inside purpose. 5 years later, one person has explanations and one person has a life. Now think about your own life. How much energy do you spend explaining your choices? Every explanation is energy taken away from action. Protect your purpose. It does not need to be understood by everyone. Remember this. You do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing to grow. Lesson 7. The person you are becoming needs the decision you make today. One of the biggest truths about identity is that you become what you repeatedly decide. You are not born confident. You become confident by making confident decisions. You are not born disciplined. You become disciplined by choosing discipline every single day. Every choice you make today is building the person you will be tomorrow. Think about a seed planted in the ground. You cannot see it growing. There is nothing visible on the surface for a long time, but underneath, the roots are spreading. They are reaching deeper and deeper. Then, one day, a small green shoot appears above the soil. Then it grows taller. Then it becomes strong. The whole tree was built in silence before anyone could see it. Your growth is the same. The work you do today in silence becomes the life others see tomorrow. Now think about your own life. What decision have you been postponing? What choice have you been avoiding? The person you want to become is already waiting inside you. That person needs you to decide today. Remember this. Your future self is being built right now by the choices you make today. And the most important lesson of all, you do not have to wait to be chosen. You can choose yourself right now. For too long, you may have been looking outward, looking for someone to validate your worth, looking for someone to say you are ready, looking for a moment that feels perfect and safe. But that moment is a myth. The perfect moment does not come from outside. It is created from inside, the instant you decide to begin. You are not someone who needs saving. You are someone who needs to stop waiting and start walking. You are not a person who has been left behind. You are a person who has been preparing, and it is time to move. The world does not need you to be perfect. The world needs you to be present, to be committed, to be willing to grow even when it is uncomfortable. Start today. Start now. Start where you are. The person you want to become is waiting for your decision. Not next month, not next year. Today. This moment. The version of you that speaks English confidently, that builds the life you dream of, that wakes up with purpose. That version of you is one decision away. Choose yourself. Choose growth. Choose the ascent. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this video helped you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to English Ascent for a new English lesson every single morning. Leave a comment below with one new word or sentence you learned today. I would love to read every single one. Keep learning, keep growing, keep ascending. I will see you in the next lesson on English Ascent.